Proud Adventist says, I like both teams. It won't bother me who wins. Come on, you got to have more passion than that. That they worked it out and they're now on the same page. And that's a total 180 from yesterday when the coach and the quarterback had an absolute and total disagreement. We're here for the next half hour to break down this win by the A's over the Tigers. And boy, you couldn't have hoped for a better guy to be up in that situation. Marlowe is moving on up. From the Comcast Sportsnet studios, I'm Chuck Fisher with this Sports Flash. And Tim Tebow, only a sophomore, so he has 2 more years to try to add many more awards to his, wherever he keeps his awards. Ken and Tracy.
Glorious locker room at the Coliseum. It's been a while.
Try never, Dave. I've never been in a victorious Raiders locker room until today. Obviously, during his early years in St. Louis, Isaac Bruce wasn't a big fan of the spoken word, but now, so many years later, he's pretty much still the same. The last time Bruce Gradkowski started a game was last December as a member of the Cleveland Browns, and it didn't turn out too well. He was 5 of 16 for just 18 yards. Stanford went into the Coliseum and hung 55 points on the formerly mighty Trojans. That's the most ever on a USC team. Good evening and welcome into Burger King Sportsnet Central. Alongside Miss Mindy Bach, I'm Chuck Fisher. The Sharks, as you saw, not doing too well in the nation's capital, and neither are the Golden State Warriors back here in the Bay Area.
And the regular season, Chuck, has not even started yet.
There's universal agreement in the Raiders locker room that the way to instantly turn things around and show the world the kind of team they really are is to beat a good team. They certainly have that opportunity Sunday with Donovan McNabb and the high-flying Eagles coming to town. Kate Longworth had her finger on the collective pulse of the Raiders today by making good use of her press pass. She joins us live from the newsroom.
Well, Chuck,
we shall see, Kate. Thank you. Our silver and black coverage just getting warmed up later on Sportsnet Central. Much maligned Jamarcus Russell has heard all the criticism this season. Would it be any different for another quarterback under center for the Raiders? The Eagles into the black hole Sunday as the Raiders try to get back in the win column. Could the Raiders season look a lot different if one current Eagle had chosen Oakland over Philly? And speaking of getting back in the win column, Stanford got knocked out of the top spot in the Pac-10 last week. Can the Cardinals catch fire again on the road in the Arizona desert? The answer coming up as Sportsnet Central continues. It was a last place finish for the Oakland A's in 2009, and they finished at least 10 games under 500 for the 3rd straight season. So, where should they focus most of their attention this offseason? For those answers, we go deep with A's analyst Shooty Babbitt. The Oakland A's finished 75-87, last place in the American League West. So let's start with the big picture, Shooty. What do they need to improve most?
No question, Chuck. I mean, they had a great year last year. They have to get some meat in the middle of that lineup.
They kept all their coaches, they just announced the other day. Does that surprise you at all?
No, not for me. They did that in leaps and bounds.
And the A's played very well in the second half of the season. They were up around 500 there. But there was a glaring omission in the 3-hole, I guess you could say. Kurt Suzuki was used there, Ryan Sweeney. As good as those guys are, not 3-hole hitters, what do you think they should do with that spot?
Well, they're going to have to get something very hardy in that. It's had about 6 surgeries in the last 2 years.
Shooty Babbitt always coming in and dropping knowledge on us. Thanks a lot, Shooty.
Chuck, always a pleasure, bro.
Behind enemy lines we go to talk Michael Vick. Vick caused major waves when he signed with Philly shortly after leaving prison this summer, but he's been quiet ever since. Vick has passed for 1 yard and run for 10 yards so far. Vick knows he'd be in a tough spot if he had signed with the Raiders because Raider Nation would be screaming for him right now with Jamarcus Russell struggling.
You know, if I would have went there, there's just been a lot of quarterback controversy.
Stanford's loss at Oregon State last week was the product of very good defense by the Beavers. Toby Gerhart held under 100 yards for the first time in 3 weeks, and Stanford coach Jim Harbaugh warns it's going to be even tougher versus the Arizona Wildcats D in the desert this weekend.
Well, on their defensive side of the ball, this is the best secondary we played against.
Well, some things in life require a second look and a third. This one definitely a third, a fourth, and a fifth. Alex Ovechkin has nothing on this Boston kid. What's the deal? Find out straight ahead on Sportsnet Central.
Score alert. Sharks and Capitals again in D.C. 5 minutes into the 3rd period. Caps leading 3-1. Matt Bradley of Washington puts home the rebound goal. That puts the Caps up 4-1. Washington leads by that same score, 4-1, less than 1 minute to go in that game.
Well, our curtain call is also our Whopper Junior Achievement Award, and it goes to Oliver Wallstrom of Portland, Maine. Again, I wonder if they send him the burger and fries.
They should. That was amazing. And speaking of hockey, we got more hockey. Sharks and Capitals, full highlights and wrap-up tonight at 10:30. We hope you'll join us. Two of the greatest athletic careers of our generation.
Bonds hits one to left center field. He hits it well. Brady throws. Touchdown.
Got started here on the baseball field at Serra High School in San Mateo. Pete Jensen has coached at Serra for 33 years, so he's coached both Barry Bonds
Probably the best hitter I've ever seen.
and Tom Brady.
Yeah, you know, at the time, I really felt that his chances to reach the major league level were better in baseball than football.
Shortstop Tony Rinda is Serra's latest baseball star.
I see myself right up with those guys, and yeah, I think that I could achieve their stature.
First, there's the matter of getting ahead of another guy. 14-year major leaguer Greg Jeffries was the all-time hits leader at Serra with 126. Rinda entered a late season game tied with Jeffries at 126, and he was trying to put all the pressure of a season-long record chase behind him.
Try not to talk about it much. Try not to, think about it. I just try to go out and play and get my hits.
I drove 9 hours a day from Portland. I got here just as he was walking up for his first at bat.
And Dad was right on time. On the second pitch Tony saw, the record breaker hit number 127 of Rinda's high school career, a ringing double that almost left the yard.
Would have been nice for it to get out, but I'll take a double any day. And it's just great to, it's a great achievement for me, and it's an honor to be in the record books with Greg Jeffries, and it's just a great accomplishment for me.
I could not be prouder as a mom. He's a wonderful son, and it's really been a delight watching him.
Tony believes his mom will watch him play in the major leagues someday, and his jersey will hang in the Serra clubhouse with the other 10 Padres who've made it to the big leagues.
I think I'm as good as any player out there, and I think I can make it all the way in this game, go to the bigs.
In the future, he's got a chance to be a major league player as well.
Tony Rinda's road to the majors begins in Berkeley, where he'll attend Cal next year. But first, Rinda and his teammates will try to give their head coach, Pete Jensen, a nice retirement present. Jensen is retiring after 24 years as head coach at Serra, and the Padres play for the Central Coast Section title Saturday night. Yes, the Axe is going back to Berkeley with Cal. The Bears beat Stanford for the 7th time in 8 years.
It means everything, and that's, we play for our team and we play for our school, and big tradition of our school is that Axe, so it's really important to hang on to it.
Words can't even describe it. I mean, just look around, pan around this. There are Cal Berkeley fans storming Stanford's field, and all there are Stanford fans watching in pain.
It's a team loss. Team, players, coaches, all of us, But Cal did an outstanding job. I mean, they deserve the credit.
It turned out to be a battle of the backs. Toby Gerhart scored 4 touchdowns.
Toby Gerhart, 61 yards.
With Javid Best watching, his backup Shane Vereen was the best player on the field with 3 scores of his own.
He's great. He's a great player, and he was just hitting. I mean, we have 242 rushing yards, and he was on point today.
He took most of the carries. He played hard. He's an animal. He's a beast. I love playing with him.
It means everything. We worked so hard this season, and we worked so hard this week, and to keep the Axe is just what we wanted to do.
And so it ends with blue and gold all over Stanford's field as Cal goes on the road and knocks off one of the hottest teams in the country in the 112th playing of the big game. This win for Cal not only raises their bowl profile, but also knocks Stanford out of the Rose Bowl race. In Palo Alto from the big game, Chuck Fisher, Comcast Sportsnet.